hook up to the juice.
Board of Ethics meeting?
Oh, wait, Mary.
Chairman Dill, I just wanted to thank you for the correction. That was a giant leap there, but I didn't see the date of the letter in terms of that thing on the OIP. So I made a big conclusion there. So
Oh, no, yeah.
I apologize for taking up the time on something that wasn't.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all.
But it would have been helpful if the date, the date or something would have been. I jumped to conclusions there. Hi, Gary. Did you check that microphone?
No, I was just thinking about that.
Because if it is, I'll bring it when I come, But I was thinking of it.
Because I think it will work on here for sure. Let's try that.
And if it does work, I think the radios have to get the adapter, and it's only $19 for it.
Really? Yeah, I was looking at them.
Okay. Mary, just let me know when you're ready. Okay. All right, we are resuming regular session for our October meeting of the County Board of Ethics. We are on agenda item 7, unfinished business. Item A, further discussion on a letter dated 8/31/12 to the Board of Ethics from State Office of Elections, alleging that Council Chairman Dominic Yagong may be inappropriately involved in the operations of the Hawaii County Elections Office.
Mr. Chair, if I may, this matter, we have it on unfinished business because, as you recall, the board was unable to proceed when there were allegations of conflict of interest to the chair. There was discussion at the last meeting regarding anyone having asserting that a member of this board has divided or some kind of conflict to file an affidavit with the board. Per your rules, no affidavit was filed with the Board of Ethics to date.
Based on the allegations made at the last minute and documented in the minutes. All right, thank you, counsel. For the sake of openness, fairness, I would like to, at this point, relinquish the chairmanship to the vice chair to manage the procedures on this issue. Unfinished business. Are you in agreement with that?
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you. That way, I'd like to address the allegations made, the corresponding lack of affidavits being filed. I again assert and deny the allegations made at the last meeting. I also would like to reiterate my feelings that I can rule on this matter fairly and impartially. However, I'll refer to the other board members if you have any questions for me or any concerns regarding the allegations that were made.
Mr. Hendricks, do you have any questions? None. Mr. Katsushima, do you have any questions or comments?
None. Okay. If that's the case, then I will gladly participate in this matter and allow you to manage the procedures of this matter.
That'll be fine. In further discussion of the August 31, 2012 letter to the Board of Ethics from the State Office of Elections alleging that Council Chair Dominic Yagong may be inappropriately involved in the operations of the Hawaii County Elections Office. We were in the middle of discussion during the last meeting when some allegations were flying around the room, which allegations were not formalized by affidavit as instructed. But I've believe that, if I'm correct from the other board members present, that there were some other questions and discussions that we were wanting from Mr. Yagong. If that be the case, I think it's appropriate that we enter into an informal hearing at the next meeting where Mr. Yagong will be present and we may ask him some very specific questions. What do the other members of the board say?
He's right here.
Mr. Chairman, I am here.
Oh, you're here today. I
Sorry,
didn't see you walk in.
Sorry, sir.
Would you like to come up to the front, please?
Sure. Sorry about that. I had some phone calls.
I'm glad you're here. Mr. Hendricks, do you have any questions?
Yes, I have two questions to finalize the
Yes, sir.
previous. I have two questions to finalize the previous discussion we were having last
Is
time.
this on?
My first question, you stated that after the election, you stated that you were going to get more involved in election process. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Did you, in fact, get more involved in the election process?
I guess during the election time, we really took a complete hands off to the elections for obvious reasons. I was running for office that time, and of course I did not make it through the general election. In the statements that I've made, I did make the statement I would get more involved with the elections, and to that extent, I think it had to do with we had scheduled meetings, or we looked to help support the county clerk's office in scheduling meetings with the precinct chairmen of the different precincts. So some of my involvement was actually trying to help to coordinate that. And it was shortly thereafter that Mr. Dill sent me that information about the complaint. And so I just stepped back from that, so I didn't even participate in that at all. But as far as my involvement, what we did was we did schedule a meeting with the staff here in the chambers. And we talked about the clerk, talked about the plans that we have in terms of trying to schedule meetings with the precinct chairs, the people that do the distribution collection of the election boxes, and to actually have the clerk go out into the different precincts to meet with them so that they can find out from them if they have any suggestions, any recommendations of how we can make sure some of the mistakes that took place did not happen. So at that point in time, my involvement was, helping to coordinate those meetings. So we basically, my involvement was calling the different places such as the community center in Nalehu, and calling the, trying to arrange for the Westward Civic Center and here at Dill Chambers. So, but that was to set the logistics for having the meetings with the clerk and the people on the field. We, certainly the clerk go out tonight, and I thought as well it would be a good idea to make sure they meet with the people that are out there on the field that actually dealt with elections. But it was shortly thereafter that meeting that we took place that I did receive that letter. So at that point in time, I said I really had thought.
Part of that letter, all you did was schedule meetings and things like that.
Well, we started to get the beginning logistics of the plans by the clerk to have these meetings out there in the community to meet with the.
Were you involved in making the decision-making process of any of these for the county board?
No, because at that point in time, what happened was when I received the letter, no contact was made by me with any of the people out in the field. We had just put up on the board that on these dates we're going to meet in Pahoa. This date, was set for Ke'au or Kona Kilo. But so we just put the basic bones together for the meeting. But once I received the thing from Mr. Dill, I had just turned it over to the election staff, and they made all the arrangements for that.
Okay, the last question I want to ask is, your daughter is in district precinct 1, is that correct?
That is correct.
Right. The hiring of personnel in precinct 1 is done by the county clerk, is it?
Actually, the hiring, I did mention that at the last meeting. The actual hiring of people that work in the precincts, that is the responsibility of the state of Hawaii.
State of Hawaii.
Yeah.
So you had nothing to do with
Right,
hiring?
yeah, I have nothing to do with any hiring of any election staff.
So there were none of your people in there?
Yes, I don't hire anybody. In fact, most of the people that you find out in the precincts are people that are returned people that work there year after year after year. So So most of them, what I think, my understanding of it is that when a new election comes up, what they would do is they would actually notify the people that work during the last election and find out whether they're going to continue to work, will work in the upcoming primary general election. But most of that is done, but that's done through the election staff. We have nothing to do with that.
So you have none of your people in there at all?
That is correct.
Mr. Massachusetts, do you have any questions?
Yes, Mr. Yagong.
Yes, sir.
Under your rules of procedure of organization of county council, as the council chairperson, you do appoint the county clerk.
That is correct.
What is your jurisdiction over her?
She does report. She does report to me as the supervisor of the legislative branch. Keep in mind, Mr. Kisa, the legislative branch is far-reaching. It runs the county council. It handles all the legislation that flows through. It runs both the committee and the council meetings as well, council services. It runs the legislative branch, and it also runs elections. So although I do, the chairman normally is the one that would bring forth the name for selection of a county clerk, but it has to be confirmed by all of the council members.
Do you have any jurisdiction over the operation, or you leave it to the county clerk?
Yeah, well, pretty much with the elections, that really is something that we from the very beginning tried to keep it extremely distant from that because I was a candidate. It's just a right thing to do.
Thank you.
Mr. Yagong, you keep referring to me sending you a letter. Are you referring to the July 25th letter I copied you on?
The actual complaint. Yeah, the actual complaint.
Complaint, which is
From Scott Nago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The letter sent to
Yeah,
us.
that's
Oh.
correct. That's correct.
I have no questions. Does anybody else on the board have any comment or any opinion on where we may want to go with this?
Well, like I say, the thing that we're looking at specifically is under 2-83B, whether he was in a position to give an unfair advantage or unfair privilege to his daughter because of his position on as overlooking the election process. I think from his statements now, number one, he has been totally removed, and so I don't think that would be an ongoing problem. And secondly, from his past participation, I don't think he had any effect on precinct number 1, where his daughter's actually running, had any direct impact upon that precinct. So I don't think we need to go any farther at this point, as far as I'm concerned.
Do I hear a motion to dismiss this further investigation? We don't have a petition in front of us. It's more of an inquiry than anything.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, we are actually responding to the letter that was sent that Mr. Yagong referred to.
That is,
Requesting an investigation to see if there is a conflict of interest. We are not conducting an investigation at this time. However, as we all know here, that perception is a lot when we deal with these things. And we also need to take into account, I think, the recent actions by the State Office of Elections that has transpired since our last meeting, whether or not that factors into this decision. Mr. Yagong, the State Office of Elections, can you clarify what their role is now and what responsibilities remain in your office for the elections?
Mr. Dill, thank you for the question. Honestly, I have no idea as far as what was discussed between the clerk's office and the state's office. There was a letter that was sent that sort of outlined the transition, but I honestly do not know what responsibilities have been, what having the state take over, what that means exactly. I honestly do not know. I have not had any conversations with our state elections office. The only thing that I got was the same letter that all council members received as far as their announcement and asking and talking about this transition. So I think
part of your duties are to supervise the county clerk, and so the county clerk hasn't reported to you as your supervisor in terms of the changes.
no, I she's reported to me that she also has questions as far as what stakeholder means, who has what responsibilities. That certainly has not been drawn out yet, and that's what she has shared with me. So that is something that I think Mr. Nago and the county clerk would certainly need to kind of nail down over the next week or so, just so that everyone knows what they're expected to do.
So those issues still need to be figured out then, I mean, in terms of what the county's responsibility is, what the state's taking over, and then additionally what your role is as the supervisor of the county clerk who is overseeing the elections.
I think the state is clear in terms of taking over that, and they made that clear. In fact, it's been you've also had statements from the governor that was made in regards to that. I don't think there's any clarification. The real question is, as far as I guess the actual details of what takes place out there, who's going to handle what, who's going to be in charge of what functions. But all of that is with the county clerk's office. Even without the state takeover, I would have no involvement in that as well.
Okay, counsel.
Yeah, if I may just clarify, my understanding is that the county still retains the duties regarding registration, absentee ballots, and then also voter registration.
That is my understanding also from what I've read in the paper.
So that's my understanding, and that the state has taken back the duties that it normally delegates to all other counties except for Honolulu. So, as Mr. Yagong said, what that means in terms of details, I'm not sure, but those are the two items that the county will retain.
So the question that we have in front of us is whether or not we should move on with an investigation or just acknowledge the receipt of this letter at this time. Am I correct, counsel?
We've already acknowledged the receipt of this letter.
I believe at the last meeting you accepted
Okay.
and filed the communication, and then what was before you was what this board would do, if anything, how it wanted to proceed, if it wanted to proceed or not.
Are there any comments as to how different board members feel that we should proceed?
I think, by Mr. Yagong's own admission, there's still some clarification that needs to be done on their end in terms of what the county's role is, and since he is the council chairman and the direct supervisor of the county clerk, I think we should schedule an informal investigation into this so these things can be clarified and to make sure things are in the open and that there is no conflict of interest. If Mr. Yagong is admitting that he has no clue in terms of what the state's role is and not what the county's role is, then I think in our best interest to do our due diligence and look into this a little further.
Any comments from the other board members? Mr. Hendricks?
I made my comment.
Go on.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, thank you for that. Well, first of all, in terms of the state taking over the elections, as far as my having no clue, what that basically comes down to is that I do not know the details of what the takeover would be, but I can assure you that the takeover by the state is something that's being worked out between the state and the county clerk's office. Certainly isn't something that's delegated to the chairman's office, and there would be no relationship between the chairman's office and this takeover. Certainly they did not ask for my opinion or ask whether the chair needs to be involved. As a matter of fact, I think just from the letter that was sent from Scott Nago, I think clearly states that they're concerned that there is a relationship, and of course there isn't, but to make sure that there isn't one thing, I assure this body at this point in time that there is whatever is being would end up being the plan between the state and the county clerk's office has absolutely nothing to do with the chair's office or the county council.
Is there a motion as to where we would want to go? Mr. Judge?
Sure, I'll move to schedule this for an informal investigation at our next meeting, so we can gather some more details in terms of how the roles are changing. Make sure that we are ensuring the voters of County of Hawaii that there are no conflicts of interest as stated here.
And this is to say that the informal
request of the State Office of Elections in their letter to look into this further.
What other information may we need?
Oh, good. I did respond, as he noted, to the letter sent by Scott Nago at the State Office of Elections, initially spelling out our rules and procedures. I think we can request additional information in terms of what their roles will now be now that they've announced that they've taken over portions of the operations, and how it affects the reporting to the council chairman, if at all.
Is there a second to this motion?
Before you make that, I'd like to reiterate my comment. I think we've gone far enough.
Is there a second to this motion?
Could I make a statement?
Yes.
Excuse me, I don't want you to make a statement, I want you guys to see if there's a second to the motion.
And then we'll have discussion.
I'll second it.
Is there a discussion, Mr. Constantine?
Yes. The state is gonna take over the elections, per se, the operation. Because of certain things that happen during the primary. The state has their own rules set. I don't think the rules is made by the council chair or the council. It's made by the state. Therefore, if the state, my question is gonna be, what if the state messes this up? What is the next outcome? The county is off the charts now, becomes a state again. We can request for all the information until the day it happens. We're not gonna know how it ends up. So I would think if we're going to more information, I would like Mr. Nago sitting where Mr. Yagong is. He can clarify one day. This has to be done before the next election.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Mr. Dill? Well, at this point in time, my opinion on all this is that if we're going back into history, there must have been a perception that Mr. Yagong was somehow involved in the election. There was this perception that he was out there, he was out into the precincts, or he was manipulating something. From what we've discussed today, apparently that was not the intention, but yet there was this big perception out there. And the perception in some people's eyes is real, and in some people's eyes it's like, okay, it's only a look-see kind of thing. I tend to agree with Mr. Hendricks that the issue has been exhausted. And when I call for a vote, I would be calling against the motion. I would be voting against it. But with the caveat that Mr. Yagong has to take into account that he is council chair, and as was mentioned in a previous testimony today on an unrelated matter, that elected officials, county employees, are held to a much higher standard in terms of perception and how they conduct themselves. Currently, in my mind, let this go by the wayside a little ways. That has to be publicly stated. So at this point in time, if there's no further discussion, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of continuing with the informal investigation, say aye.
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 And those opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Council, at this point, we have a time.
The motion does not pass, so we proceed on to the next item.
We will proceed on to the next item. The motion does not pass.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
You may have the chair.
All right, moving on to unfinished business. Item 7B, petition number 2012-02, A review of draft order dismissing a petition alleging the general current chairwoman of planning commission in light of strong questionable appearances to the public should have recused himself from voting regarding the revocation of special use permit number 1122 during planning commission meeting of May 3rd, 2012. Alleging violations of sections 2-83, 84, and 91.1. Board members, have you had a chance to review that draft resolution and the draft advisory opinion?
Yes.
Comments, questions?
None from here.
None for myself.
No comments. Is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, moving on to item 7C, petition number 2012-03. Informal hearing of petition alleging violations of section 2-83 of the Ethics Code when county employees are allowed to attend union meetings on county time in which political campaigning takes place. This petition was filed and initially heard last meeting, and we voted to schedule an informal hearing on this matter. We also requested quite a bit of information from council. And Mary, thank you. We received quite a bit of information.
Mr. Chair, if I may just interrupt, I did, part of what was provided to you was two State of Hawaii Ethics Commission opinions, and I'm not sure if the board members had a chance to review that. I did send it to you, I think it was yesterday. But if there are any discussions regarding legal matters, I prefer that we go in executive session. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, there is quite a bit of information, and just speaking personally as chair, I didn't get a chance to review those previous judgments and opinions on that. I did get a chance to look briefly at the collective bargaining agreements, and it was made clear, I believe, in fire and police union bargaining agreements that this type of activity was specifically not allowed. Is that correct?
Only that.
Yeah. But the HGEA was
Silent.
I haven't been able to look at the other stuff, but I agree. Why don't we?
Chairman, can I have a motion for me?
Sure.
In essence, what the third here is that we're stuck in a very, very narrow legal matter. That's what I see it. It's very, very narrow and very, very complex legal matter we got ourselves caught up in. And we have just got some input from the Attorney General as to what she sees some of those cases that may be relevant to that legal matter. And I just received those cases, so I haven't been able to go over them carefully. So therefore, what I would request is I would request to allow me to go over that legal matter because it's going to come down to a legal issue as far as I'm concerned. And I've got to resolve that legal issue in my mind before I can go forward. So knowing that, I'd like to ask for a continuance. So I make a move that we continue to the next time we go over the legal matters of before this board.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and second to continue this, to allow for time to review the precedents that were provided to us. Because I got the collective bargaining agreements. So we have a motion to continue this matter and a second. Any further discussion? Thanks, Arnie, for clarifying. Any further discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, continue the matter. Can I get a motion to go into executive session to review the executive session minutes from September 12th, 2012?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.